Hello everyone, Seth Campbell here. Welcome back to Segway Plays The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. In the last episode, a lot of stuff happened. We defeated Godhan and completed the Tower of the Gods before sinking down to the bottom of the ocean where there was this mysterious castle that was frozen in time or something, and we found the Master Sword there, which unfroze it, and lots of monsters came alive, and then we came back up here. And now we can't go back there, and so hopefully the King of Red Lions knows what's going on. He seems to. But anyway, he indicated at the end of the last episode that it was time to return to the Forsaken Fortress and finally save our sister. But we're going to do some side quests first, because that's how The Legend of Zelda works. So, the first thing I want to do is, because this tower just appeared out of nowhere, we don't have anything on our sea chart for this island, so I want to find, if I can, our local friendly fishman, who should be around here somewhere, I think. Oh, was that him? No, that's a treasure ring. Okay. That's him, however. Okay. Oh, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Where'd he go? Hi, small fry. We've heard this dialogue before. Tower of the Gods. I've done a fish fortune on you, small fry, and from what I can tell, it looks like you're fated to come to this place many times. And the keys to control that fate are none other than the lucky items known as the Triumph Forks. Yeah, they're some sort of magical utensils. If you want to learn more about the Triumph Forks, talk to that guy Tingle. That's what the fish fortune told me. Now, I know I may only be a fish, but my fortune-telling is uncannily accurate. You better believe it, small fry. And that's all the info I got to offer. Okay, we're looking for something called the Triumph Forks, apparently. According to our fortune-telling fish friend. Well, okay. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to head northwest back to the area around Northern Triangle Island. Because as you may recall, we now have a weapon that can pierce things from long distances that goes thwip. I refer, of course, to our bow and arrow, but that's how our other resident fishman so eloquently put it. Incidentally, I just want to say, as we go past one of the reefs there, I did discover, after my confusion in the previous episodes, and I put a little graphic denoting this, that you cannot do the reef cannon challenges until you reach a certain point in the story that we have not yet reached. And I can't for the life of me figure out why. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have anything to do with the reefs. But, you know, I don't get it. But anyway, yes, there's what I was looking for. The giant cyclone. And I want to have the bow ready, but I also... Wait a minute. I don't understand. Okay, how do I keep losing pictographs? I'm super confused, because I know I took one of Godhan, and I'm really nervous about losing one again. And I'll explain why in a minute. I'm super confused about this. But anyway. Foolish creature who does not fear the gods. to the end of the sea with you. Let the winds of Cyclops' wrath blow you away. Yes, well, we found Zephos' brother, the deranged frog that controls cyclones. Wow, that went so much quicker than it was supposed to. I am really confused. You're supposed to have a little while to fight him, and I also wanted to take a picture of him. Link, are you alright? It would seem that the wind god Cyclos bears some ill will towards humans. As you go forward, it would be wise to try not to get sucked up by any cyclones you see upon the seas. Ah, but if only we could find a way to harness the power of those cyclones, then it might be possible for us to travel across the ocean instantaneously. If you use your item that can pierce distant targets, you might be able to harness the power of the whirlwinds that Cyclos has control over. Now, I don't know if you have to have that happen to you before you can defeat him. I thought you could just straight out defeat him, but it definitely did not give us enough time to do anything there. Now, I know he can appear in a couple places, but the only one I remember off the top of my head is that Northern Triangle Island. So I'm just going to sail back there and meet you there again. And hopefully it'll go a little bit better this time. Okay, we're back. There he is again. Let's see if this goes any better this time. I am just super confused on so many levels. Between pictographs not saving and that not giving me enough time, I don't know why this game hates me all of a sudden. But, okay, let's try this again. Maybe not go in full throttle sailing. Maybe that has something to do with it. I know you can't take his picture until he rises up into it. Want to make sure I get it. Okay, come on, that's ridiculous. I mean, I got a good picture, I guess, and I promise I'm going to explain in this episode the reason I am going so far to get this. Maybe it's just because I'm not using the arrow. It doesn't think that's my intention. I mean, and okay, notice this can just send you all sorts of places. Wherever it just deposits you. So now I'm southwest of Northern Triangle Island. So again, now that I have a picture, and just to get this on the record, I have this saved. So if this disappears, I'm going to lose my mind. Over there is the wreckage of Great Fish Isle, which is actually not on our sea chart. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the Fishman, and then I will sail back again to Northern Triangle Island, and we will hopefully take on Cyclos for real this time. Should be around here somewhere. It's one of those mysteries, I don't know, maybe some people have taken the time to artistically piece all the parts of the island back together, but you never actually learn what Great Fish Isle looked like prior to destruction. And honestly, it occurs to me just now, and I've never thought about this before, maybe that's the reason you can't veer off course until after the Forbidden Woods, because otherwise you could come to this island and see it. Although, I don't know, like, I don't think you can sail around while you're in the middle of the Forbidden Woods dungeon. I don't think you can come back out and sail around. I'd be curious, actually, to know if anyone has tried that. So if any of you watching this know anything about that, feel free to say so in the comments. Oi, small fry. You should come around these parts on nights when just a wee bit of the left half of the moon is missing. That's when it appears, Fry. And that's all the info I got to offer. Well, okay, that's worth remembering. There have been a few islands where we've been told that certain phases of the moon make things appear, so it's something to remember for sure. Hopefully there'll be an easier way to keep track of that than just having to remember, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to sail back to Northern Triangle Island one more time, and I think we should be able to take out Cyclos properly now, or at least battle him. Alright, we're back. Time for round 3. Hopefully this one will be a little more reasonable. And I'm feeling lazy and don't feel like redirecting the wind just to get to this guy. There we go. The weather changes. That's usually a good sign. And here we go. So, little target practice. And I do not endorse going out and shooting frogs with it. How did that hit him? Okay, because your boat keeps moving around, it is difficult to aim well. So basically you just want to kind of... Oh, there we go. Got him. Basically you just want to keep shooting. And hope you hit him, which I did. That's a heck of an arm you've got there. And what an eye! No one's ever been able to spot me in there before now. You obviously have mastery of the air. And now that we've established that you're quite the Wind Waker, let's see if you can handle this. Alright, so that's 4-4, so it means we hold the control stick left, and it goes down, right, left, up. You learned the Ballad of Gales. Wahoo! In the hands of a Wind Waker like you, my adorable little cyclones will be happy as can be. If you need to move like the wind over the ocean deeps, just call on my cyclones. Well, I guess I'll head for home now. See you on down the road. Yes, we learned the Ballad of Gales, which is extremely helpful. It is this game's version of skip travel. Just to demonstrate a little bit how... Oops, if I can just conduct a song right. How about I demonstrate this for you? What the Ballad of Gales allows you to do is warp to key specific islands throughout the Great Sea. We can warp straight to places like... so the controls are a little finicky for choosing your island, but... well, we don't know what this one is. But key places like Windfall Island, Dragon Roost, Tingle Island, Great Fish Isle, Southern Fairy Island, Outset Island, Forest Haven, and the Tower of the Gods. This is just a huge time saver on so many levels, and I'm going to use it right now to warp to the Forest Haven. The rain came down where I made my stand. The cyclone rose with a wave of my hand. That's a good song. Cyclone, Bruce Hornsby and the Noisemakers. Robert Hunter of the Grateful Dead wrote the lyrics. Look it up. Great song. There's a live version on the Bride of the Noisemakers record. I think it's the first Bruce Hornsby reference I've made since I started this Let's Play. Mailbox is jumping. Let's talk to it. Good evening. Letters for Link. We have one letter. Here is your letter. How are you doing, Link? Oh, this is Grandma. How are you doing, Link? Do you have enough of Granny's soup? Where are you now? You may be closer than I suspect. Are you hungry? Are you keeping warm? You haven't injured yourself, have you? You always work so hard, Link. Do you have enough rupees? Your grandma doesn't have a lot, but I'm sending you everything I've saved up. As long as I have you and Errol, I don't need anything else. I just want the two of you to return home safely. Love, Grandma. Oh, that's so sweet. And she sent us a red rupee. I feel bad. We don't really need that all that much. Treasure your grandparents, kids. Now, why, you might ask, have I gone to Forest Haven? Because there is a side quest here that I would like to acknowledge and get started on, because it'll explain some of the things I've been doing and talking about so far. So, the first thing we have to do is get back... Ow. Die. First thing we have to do is get back to the Great Deku Tree inside the Forest Haven. And so I will see you when we get in there. Alright, here we are. We are back inside the Forest Haven. Now, you may recall, if you observed carefully, that when we first came here... Well, actually, I want to see... Let's talk to the Deku Tree. Let's see if he has anything to say. How are things in the world, Link? As you can see, I am slowly growing older and feebler. It seems only my wisdom is full of vigor lately. But that is just the way of life, child, and not cause for sadness. If there is anything you wish to know, just ask. I will aid you as I may. What is it you wish to know? You can talk to me. That's right. Tell me about the Koroks. Koroks. What is it you wish to learn about? Say the island Koroks. Are you concerned about the little Koroks who left the safety of our forest haven? It is indeed true that there are many islands on the Great Sea that have grown dark and dangerous. Who knows what perils might await my children? I shall mark the places that my Korok children have journeyed to on your sea chart, Link. Could you be so kind as to check on them for me as you proceed with your quest? I entrust their care to you. Is there anything else you wish to ask? That's gonna come in handy later. Let's finish up talking about the Koroks. So let's ask about the forest Koroks. You wish to know about the Koroks who remain here in the Forest Haven? Well, you can find Hollow in the hole over there researching potions. And as for Makar, well, just look, he is right there. He is busy practicing a new song for next year's ceremony. He is already looking forward to it. Is there anything else you wish to ask? Let's see, tell me about forest water. The forest water? So you have learned the secret of our forest haven. The forest water is a mystical and powerful draft that fills the trees with life and vitality. With such water, it would even be possible to return to life a battered, withered tree. And yet the forest water is quickly spoiled by the air outside the forest haven.
Once it leaves the borders of these woods, it will lose its potency after just 20 minutes and become no different from ordinary water. I suppose it is thanks to such water that this gnarled old tree has been able to live for so many long years.
Yes, that incidentally. You remember I mentioned in the fight against Kali Demos, the boss, the plant boss of Forbidden Woods, that someone had just recently, as in the last couple of years, discovered a secret way to defeat him in one hit. That involves the forest water. If you manage to... Well, basically you have to have essentially cleared the dungeon first and use the cauldron wart. So you clear the dungeon up to the boss door and leave, come back here, and get forest water. And then go back to the dungeon and go into the boss room and begin the fight. If you can do that quickly enough, and you cut down the tendrils with your boomerang and open the plant up, if you dump the forest water on the inner area on the head of Kali Demos, you will defeat him instantly. And I don't know if that's just a glitch or if it's more of an Easter egg, something they threw in there to see if anyone would discover it. And no one discovered it for over a decade, which I think is really impressive. I don't know who thought to try it or if they had looked in the game's code and discovered something. But it's definitely it's a very curious thing, and I think it's super cool that someone finally found it after all these years. Now, what I was saying before is, or it started to say before, is if you remember, the exit that we flew to go to the Forbidden Woods was not the highest point in the inner forest haven. There is, in fact, a higher point that requires the Deku Leaf to get to. And even then you can just barely get to it. There are actually two higher points, and I want to see which is which here. I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, yes, this is this one. So I may go... Yeah, I'm going to go actually do the other one first, because this is actually the one that involves the quest that I want to talk about. Okay, I guess I did that. How do you get over there? Okay, because that doesn't launch you high enough. Maybe this one? I'm a little low on magic, so I'm going to let this thing shoot me into the air a couple times. Actually, I think I know how to do it. Aim for this here. Yes, just barely does that work. And then jump and use the Deku Leaf. And you can fly all the way over to this ledge here. Now, I don't actually remember... Oh, yeah. That's right. So, there's an island all the way out there. How would we get it? How will we get to that island? Well, obviously we would fly with the Deku Leaf, but the wind is going in the wrong direction. Fortunately, we are the Wind Waker, if my control stick didn't get stuck. Meaning, we can change the wind's direction. And glide our way over with no problem. Make sure to use the Deku Leaf to catch yourself before you fall too far or you're going to get hurt. But, anyway, keen observers of this Let's Play will notice what kind of chest this is. And it indeed gives us another treasure chart. So, well, the good news is we got a treasure chart. The bad news is we're all the way back toward the bottom of the Forest Haven. So, I am going to take... Oh, well, I'm flying against the wind here, so that's not gonna... And I'm nowhere near anything, so I am almost definitely going to drown. Let's see. Can I make it anywhere to anything? Beetle, for once, I desperately want you to come back to me. Let's see, I might make it. I might just make it. Yes, Beetle's coming this way. Beetle is coming this way. Come on. Stop moving. Yes! We survived. Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to buy a little bit of bait from Beetle because I can. And then once I do that, I am going to climb all the way back up Forest Haven. But since that would be boring for you to watch, I will cut to when I get there. Thank you! Incidentally, gonna cut in with this just to show you what happens if you have no magic and try to use the Decker leaf as a weapon. That happens. It's just the stems of the leaf, the veins. It doesn't have any substance behind it. Okay, we are back at this exit from the Upper Forest Haven. Now, when we were here a minute ago, the camera panned to another little island down there. And of course, the wind is going in the exact opposite direction we need it to right now. I'm super paranoid. I don't want to de-equip or unequip the Picto box because I'm convinced that it's just gonna like delete my second pictograph because I don't know what's been going on. But I'm not taking any chances. If you go back and watch the videos, you'll see that I saved those pictographs. I definitely chose to save them. But anyway. So there's this island that has what looks like a giant submarine hatch of some kind. Palace of Figurines, Nintendo Gallery, membership required to enter. So this is the famous Nintendo Gallery that one of the fishmen told us about. And then there's this guy. This guy, his name is Manny. And I'll explain, you know, there's a little humor in that, which I'll explain later. But my friend who got me into this game always just referred to him as Dorky. And so, to me, his name has always been Dorky, and I shall continue to refer to him as Dorky. Unless you think I'm being unfair, I am the first to say that I am the world's foremost dork on so many different levels. So, don't take it as an insult. But, if you look closely at the little stamp on the bag he's carrying... It's hard to do it because he keeps turning to face me. You will see that it is, in fact, an Octorok designed in the fashion of the original NES Legend of Zelda. So, let's see what this guy has to say. You're incredible. Did you just fly down here? That's the coolest thing ever. Hey, if you can fly, do you think maybe you can hit that switch over there? Huh? Can you? Huh? You can't see it. It's just over there. Up toward the top of Forest Haven. Don't you have a telescope? I mean, who does it in this day and age? Okay. Let's see. Let's try the telescope. I like the look Link was giving him there, like, That guy's crazy. The switch is way on top of that island. At the base of that one branch. You see what I mean? Right in that little nook. I thought that's what he was talking about. Hang on. I've never been good with the telescope. Aha! Okay, now that's interesting. So, way up there is a crystal switch, but that is way too far for our boomerang, and I don't think we can hit it with an arrow. I think it's too far to get an accurate shot. So I've never actually tried this before, but basically it won't work. The wind will get in the way or something. I don't know what their precise reasoning is, because it looks like it's hitting, but it's not doing anything. So what you're actually supposed to do here is take one of these famous Hioi pears, and take control of a seagull. And basically, you press A to flap your wings, and you use the old sort of inverted controls, pull down on the control stick to go up, push up on the control stick to dive down. And what you want to do is fly and smack into the switch. That poor, poor seagull. And there goes Dorky. So now that we're done here, we press R to relinquish control over the possessed seagull. And we can enter the Nintendo Gallery. Welcome! Welcome to the Nintendo Gallery Figurine Palace. This is your first time here, isn't it? Did one of our members provide you with an introduction, I hope? Ah, well, no worries, one way or the other. We've been losing members due to our lack of gimmicky attractions, but we don't worry. True fans know we're the coolest. So anyway, do you know what it takes to become a member of our club? The figurines we have on display have all been made using pictographs provided by our devoted members. If you bring me, the master sculptor, a pictograph that steals my breath away, then you'll become a member, and you'll be able to view the collection in our galleries. And won't that be nice? Do you have such a pictograph? I believe I do. I certainly hope I do. Let's see. Ah! This is quite an inspiring motif. Hurrah! I'm filled with inspiration. Please, permit me to sculpt this. It will be a jewel of a figurine. So what's your name, kid? Link. Link, is it? Well, Link, this officially marks your induction into our little club. I think I should be done with this tomorrow. If you'd like, you can go ahead and take a look at our gallery in the meantime. So, we have begun the Nintendo Gallery quest, one of the most notorious side quests in this game, if not all of The Legend of Zelda. So, what is this all about, you ask? Basically, if you take a good color pictograph, and it has to be in color, of any person, enemy, or creature in the game, and bring it to Karlov the sculptor, he will create a figurine of that character, enemy, or creature, and put it into the thematically appropriate room, and you can look at that figurine and it'll have little bits of information on it. There are a few drawbacks about this quest. Not least is the fact that there are just so many things that you can have sculpted. But one of the super annoying aspects is that it always takes a day, which means if it's night, then it has to be the next night. Or if it's day, it has to be the next day. So the good thing for us is that since we know the Song of Passing, we can speed that up a little bit. The bad news is he can only work on one figurine at a time, which means if you have the maximum of 3 pictographs, then you have to do this 3 times just to get them made into figurines. This is something on a lot of levels. Actually, I'm gonna mention something else first. The other thing is that your pictograph, and fortunately, they're a little lenient on Cyclos there because it's hard to get a good angle on him. But your pictograph really has to be a good one. It has to catch the entire body of the subject, and it has to be at a good angle where it can be seen clearly for him to be able to sculpt it. Now, this is one aspect that I like much better in the HD remake because they made this a tremendous amount easier. Is he can work on multiple figurines at a time. Your Pictobox can hold up to 12 pictographs instead of just 3, and this is the real kicker, it will automatically tell you when you snap a pictograph if it is a good pictograph. It'll indicate basically whether or not it could be turned into a sculpture right then and there, which is great. And I believe, I'm not positive on this, but I believe it does that for regular pictographs even when you have the black and white one. I'll double check this. But you may remember my quest to snap the pictographs for Lenzo. That would have made that way easier because you know immediately. You don't have to go back to Lenzo, or in this case Karlov, and be told, oh, that doesn't work, and go back and find the person and take it again. So that is something that they did a fantastic job of improving upon. A lot of people still found it tiresome, and I don't blame them, but for completionists and collectors such as myself, while the acquisition of each figurine is more than tiresome, particularly in this version, the fruits of the labor, I think, are worth it. I love the figurines and the things you can learn about them. So let's talk to Karlov now. Welcome, Link. The figurine you requested is ready. It's been a long time since I've done work this exceptional. Go in that door there to check it out. I put it in the second room from the left. My left. Yes, this guy has a bit of an ego on him. But, yes, so we go second room from his left. So that should be 1, 2. Now, you may be thinking, but there are certain characters that only appear in cutscenes, so you must not be able to get figurines of them. Well, that's not actually true. There are ways to get figurines of every character. For example, Xephos. You can't take a picture of him, but if you take a picture of Cyclos, somehow through magic psychic intuition, Karlov will know how to sculpt both of them. There are little workarounds for the characters that you cannot ordinarily snap a pictograph of. And we will deal with those on an individual basis, because there are some unique ways that happens. But, and this is the important part if you want to complete this quest, there are certain characters, certain boss enemies, for example, or just regular characters, who will disappear after a certain point in the story. They won't be around anymore, you won't be able to see them directly, and for a lot of the bosses you won't be able to fight them again because you defeated them, so they're gone. You must take their picture before this cutoff point, and each of them has a different cutoff point. And that was one reason I was so anxious to get a good pictograph of Cyclos, because once you defeat him, he does not appear again. Now, there is a very long-term safety net for this. but it will be a long, long time before we can address that. Suffice it to say for now, I have not missed the cutoff on any characters, and I do not intend to. And for those of you wondering, well, what about the bosses we've beaten? Well, just hang on there, because I promise you there is a way from this point to get every figurine. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing me getting these figurines. Hopefully, once I have the full collection, I'll do a bonus video where I just go through and read all of them. But I will show the ones that have a cutoff or a unique way of getting them, because I do really like the way this turns out. I think it's super cool. So you can look around and zoom in and change, the angle. It's really cool. You can get looks at these characters in ways you normally can't. And then you press A and you get a little description. How Karlov knows all these things beats me. Zephos and Cyclos, birthplace, Dragon Roost Island, sibling deities who control the wind. Zephos and Cyclos are two light-hearted deities who teach Link the Wind's Requiem and the Ballad of the Gales. Well, this particular descriptor is not all that interesting, but it's a good example. So, and this just gives you the the controls. And you may notice, if you look closely, each of these rooms has its own theme. For example, this one is the Great Sea. This one's Windfall Island. This one is Outset Island, because that's the bridge. This one is the Forsaken Fortress. This one, I believe, is dungeons, like general dungeons and caverns. And this one is Dragon Roost Island, and this one is the Forest Haven. So with all of that explained, just because I want to clear off my picture box, he's going to say the same thing every time. I'm just because I want to have space on my picture box free for the important ones that we want to make sure we get. We can't use the telescope in here. I'm going to have him sculpt Garrickson, aka the creepy Mario stalker guy. But I won't make you sit through that, and we'll come back and look at it another time. But I do want to draw attention to the myriad of objects behind him before we go here. You get a piggy bank, little model of Windfall Island. But then up there, that is particularly interesting. Well, he's got a model of the pirate ship and what I think is the logo of the milk bar from Majora's Mask, but he also, how he got these is anyone's guess, but there are 4 masks from Majora's Mask up on his wall. There's a hanging seagull model up there. There's a model of a submarine, and I can't really tell at the moment what the rest of those objects are, but once again, and I know I've talked about this a lot, but it's the little details that make this game so great. But now I am going to go up and basically make it go forward a day so that Garrickson's... Well, I don't actually have to do that because I'm going... Yeah, so this will count. Like, if you go somewhere else and just do stuff and a day passes, then the figurine will be made by the time you come back. So, that's good. So, now that we've got all that out of the way, we learned the Ballad of Gales, and we have unlocked the Nintendo Gallery, and I've explained all the mechanics thereof. We are going to call this episode here, and in the next episode, it's finally time to go to the Forsaken Fortress and save our sister. So I'll see you then.